Go ahead and turn to the absolute value problem. Yep. No, this page right here. We're on the page 2 of the library of parent functions.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and write down. These are all going to be number 2. So I'm just going to write absolute value on this one. And I've got y equals negative x plus 4 in absolute value signs. So, before we get going on this problem, we are going to need to rewrite this one. And it's because the x has to be kind of by itself. The x is not allowed to have a coefficient. So I'm going to take that negative and put it in the front. And so what should be in my parentheses if I take that negative out? Minus 4. Okay. So I rewrote it so it was in factored form on the inside. So what are the transformations that are happening? Reflecting over the y.
Because it's in the inside, right?
Reflect over y because it's on the inside. But which coordinate does it happen to? It happens to the x coordinate. Okay. And then what's our other transformation? Right. 4. Okay. Now, like I mentioned in your notes for homework, you can do this by shifting the points, and you can also do it visually. I think that we probably like shifting the points for right now. That seems to be maybe a little bit more comfortable than what we did last time when we were like counting, when we did all the odd problems. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our parent function, and we're just going to write down a few of the points. So I'm going to write down -2, +2. Actually, we can only write 3 points. That'd be fine. I'm going to write -1, +1, 0, 0, and +1, +1. Okay? So my 3 points, -1, +1, 0, 0, +1, +1. And I'm going to reflect the point over the y-axis. So does that happen to the x-coordinate or the y-coordinate? X-coordinate. So what's going to happen to the x's? Change the sign. So 1, 0, -1. Did my y-coordinate change at all? No. And then I'm going to go ahead and move each point to the right 4. So what do I do? Add 4 to x. So 5, 4, 3. Did my y-coordinate change at all?
No.
And then I'm going to go ahead and take these points at the end, and I'm going to draw them for number 2. This one right here. And when you draw them, when you draw it, it should look like this. Okay. We ready for the next one? Okay, so for the next number 2, we're going to look at the quadratic number 2. And again, this one is written incorrectly because the x has a number in front of it and it's not supposed to. So I'm going to say y equals, there's my x right there. I can see that the decimal is 0.5, but what fraction would that be? 1/2. Okay, so we've got 1/2. And if I think about this, this is like 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. 1/2 times what would have given us? Wait. 1/2 times what would have given us 3? 6. So it's actually -6. Ooh, see, be careful, because 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. 1/2 times 6 is what gave us the 3, right? Okay, so be careful with that. I would say putting 1.5 is the common mistake there. That would be the common mistake. Okay.
When the number's outside like that one, what do you do?
This is your C.
No,
This is your.
I'm talking about the negative one.
Oh, the negative one.
But I'm gonna let you continue on.
That's your up or down. Up or down.
Add it on to the x one.
The Y. Say it again. I did one. I changed this. You'll see why in a second. No, but you'll see why I did it in a second. Okay, so tell me what our transformations are. Wait. Is that a compression? Yeah, it's a stretch. That is a horizontal stretch by how much? By 2. So I took the 1/2 and I flipped it. Anytime you have some number here written as a decimal, you're probably going to want to write it as a fraction so you can flip it. Okay? So I flipped that 1/2, horizontal stretch by 2. All right, what's this one? Right 6. Right 6. And down 1. Okay. So I'm going to look at my parent graph and get some points. This time I'm going to have to get a few more points because I want to make sure that I'm not making it grow the same as an absolute value graph. So I'm still going to use the -1, 1, the 0, 0, and the 1, 1. I'm still going to use those 3 points, but I'm also going to use -2, 4, and +2, 4. So I'm going to do 5 points on this one just so I can make sure I do a good job drawing it. So here's my 5 points. I've got -2, +4, -1, +1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4. And that's just to make sure I draw a U shape and not a V shape. Yes?
Does it matter in what order?
It does not matter. I tend to go left to right, but it does not matter. So if you look at those 3 transformations, doesn't matter what order we do them in. Yes. Which one has to go first? The stretch. After that, it doesn't matter. But the stretch has to go first. All right. So horizontal stretch by 2, what should we do? Yep, multiply it by the x. So take the x, multiply it by 2. And then what do we have? Right 6. So what are we going to do? Take the x and add 6. Okay, and then how about our y coordinate? Down 1. And then that final one is the one that we draw. So that's what your picture should look like.